people, welcome back to the channel and welcome to a pretty marvellous Saturday morning down here on the rocks at Newbiggin. Not too far from home today. As usual, I'm on a bit of a kind of fishing when I can fish rather than when I should fish, which just seems to be the way that my winter season is unfolding, unfortunately, but it's just the way it is when you work in an industry that's, fair to say, pretty sociable. So I was out on Thursday night. Truth be told, I had a pretty rotten hangover yesterday. I'm out again this afternoon. Got a family meal, which will turn into a drinking session, there's no doubt. So that's at getting picked up at 3:30. It's 10:20, so I'm on a bit of a short leash in terms of time, but is what it is. We'll just have to work with it. So we've got a lovely bright morning, which is very, very pleasant, but as you'll all know, is not particularly great when it comes to trying to catch cod. So again, we're just going to have to play the hand we're dealt and see what we can make of it. So what we've got a combination of wings, frozen squid and frozen crab. I did intend on having some coral sticks with it as well, but I just didn't have time to make any up. So to be fair, if there is anything here, which I'm gonna admit I'm probably not anticipating any great shakes because of the conditions, but if there is anything here, I'd like to think that it wouldn't turn its nose up at that. So rigs are the usual pulleys, fairly short, 5/0 ring chino, 6/0 demon circle fine wire, 60-pound amnesia, hook length and 80-pound ASSO classic rig body, power swivel, splashdown rotor and Trident aero pulley. The sea conditions are absolutely brilliant if you own a kayak, a little boat or even a yacht today, because there is a bit of offshore breeze. If you're a shore angler looking for cod, not great, not great. It's very, very flat. That westerly's knocked. There was a little bit of sea yesterday when I looked at the webcam, but it's knocked it right off. So we've got, yeah, barely got a foot swell, to be honest. We do have a lot of colour in the water, mind, so that's one thing. And the other thing that we do have in our favour is we've got a big tide today. It's probably about, I think it's a 0.93 ebb. So we're just over 2 hours into the flood already, so it is going to be pushing in quite hard. So I'm just going to let this tide push us further back up the rocks and then end up on that lower ledge up there, depending on how things look. I'm probably going to have until about 2:10 at the very latest. So it's going to be a fairly short and sweet session, but we'll see if we can pick something up. You got to be in it to win it, haven't you? And to be honest, with the amount of boozing that I've been doing recently, I just quite frankly need to get me little weekly fix of fresh air, because I do find it is quite important getting out and about in the great outdoors now and again. Well, I say now and again, probably at least once a week, if not twice a week, but you're all fishermen, you know exactly what I'm on about doing. So let's get this first rig baited up and then we'll get it out there. Got a feeling days like this, more distance you can get, the better really. So just got a 5-ounce sinker. I'd typically use 6 or 7, but with it being so flat, it's not really gonna matter. So see if I can nip back over here before this next wave. Just right. Let's see what that does. Get this next bait sorted out. So I'm trying to get that squid a bit more defrosted. It's been out the freezer for about 2 hours now, but because it's only about 3 degrees, it is just not getting colder. But anyway, got a couple of frozen peelers there that I'm also going to try and get on. This wing's still half frozen, but still a little bit frozen, so it'll do. I'm just using this shepherd's crook tool, which I'm quite a big fan of. Now, elastic, of course, the end of it has disappeared, which is not particularly convenient. What I'm finding actually with elastic, when I'm using baits that are already, when it's a little bit milder, I tend to like finer elastic when like I'm using squid, coral and wings that I've already defrosted a bit and they're a bit softer. But what I am finding, when you're fishing on colder nights and your wings or whatever it is you're using is really solid, the finer elastic isn't as effective because it's got nothing to bite into, because it's just getting wrapped around quite a hard frozen surface. So now you can see that wing's defrosting a little bit, and I find this elastic to be fine. But when the baits are rock hard or I'm using tougher baits, I do find the thicker elastic to be a bit more effective. So it's all personal preference. Doesn't really matter, but it can be quite handy just to have a selection, one of each in your box, just depending on what kind of bait you're fishing with. So plenty of elastic on that. As I said with amnesia, run your fingers through it, create a little bit of heat, and that'll straighten out the fish nicely. 1, 2, that through the top like that, pull that through. Reason I like splashdowns, this rig obviously isn't attached to the rod yet, but with a splashdown you can clip it up and you can just drop it on the deck and it's not going to come undone. And I tend to find using such heavy, thick, strong grades these days, I can afford to stick a bit more kind of terminal tackle on your rigs, because if you're using hooks that have got a bit of give, you tend not to, generally speaking, I don't want to tempt fate, I tend not to lose anywhere near as much gear, to be honest. So let's get this clipped up and get it out. Right, so first cast being in about 20-25 minutes. I'll bring it in shortly. This tide's pushing in really hard now. I'm already probably 10-15 yards back from where I started, even just within half an hour, which, to be fair, is no bad thing, because it's pretty much the only thing that I've got in my favour today. Everything else is against us. Bright sunshine, flat sea, but we're out. It's a nice enough day. Gear always for this sort of stuff: Saragossa 10,000 SWPG, Comp SS 13 foot 10 48 ounce, 80 pound whiplash, 120 pound 4-strand rubbing leader. Just simple is what it is. Nothing particularly flash. The comps are pretty old soldier these days, but still does the job. I am, you might have seen in another video, I am maybe fancying a new rod. I'm possibly a Tip Tornado Sport that Gary uses, or maybe even a Super Match for areas that don't require any lifting or that aren't quite as rough. So that's possibly what I'm thinking, but we'll be lucky, to be honest. We'll be lucky for catching anything today, conditions like this, but you just got to be out there and give it a crack, haven't you? the industry I work in is just, it's good fun, but it's very, very sociable, which 11 months out of the year you don't mind, but in December when you've got like 2 dues a week and the drinking isn't exactly light touch on them either, so it does tend to interfere with fishing. And typically for me, every time I'm out is when the sea's away, and then by the time I get around to fishing again, i.e. now, it's gone, it's flattened off. But we'll give it a couple hours, we'll see if we can get anything. I know there has been some nice fish from looking on Facebook and stuff like that. There's a lot of people getting stuck into some nice 5-6 pounders, so that's good. With a bit of luck I might get one before the season's over, if I can just find the time to fish during the right conditions, but you never know, we'll see. Right, it's the second cast out. Absolutely zero on the first one, as I thought there would be. Slight problem I've got now is that I'm kind of the halfway house between just pitch and camp up there and hang around here, but the problem is I'm on that like 10 yards off the higher tide area, so the rocks are very slippy, but I'm just going to have to keep my wits about us and get on with it. Well, I don't believe it. I've actually just had a bite followed by a bit of slack line. It did look like a classic cod bite, nothing massively aggressive, but just one bounce and then a load of slack. Just going to see if I can get a better footing on some of these drier rocks. It's better. Could of course have been a lobster. No. It's been in a good 25 minutes this. I'm going to give it another couple of minutes and then pitch camp up there out the way, and then I can just chill for the next couple of hours. Definitely something though. On the cliff now. I'm going to have to, casting's going to be slightly tricky because I don't want to get too, I want maximum range but I don't want to get too close to the edge, so I'm going to have to just shorten my drop here. I do tend to like a longer drop, but we'll just have to go a wee bit short and speed things up a bit. It's not bad, I'll do. I don't know this mark massively well, to be honest. I've only fished it, I think this is only the third time I've fished it. And I've never actually caught any of them, but I just needed somewhere where I could fish in convenience up to high water and then get off quickly without any messing around. And I could have fished further south into North Tyneside, but then on a day like this, it's going to be swarming with people and dog walkers, and I just can't be bothered with it, to be perfectly honest. So maybe I'm just getting a bit old and cynical. Just had a bite here. There's definitely something, having a little look there. Certainly had more of a something with fins look to it than a crustacean. As usual, pick the rod up. Give it a couple more minutes, I'll get another rig baited up, and we'll investigate. Right, let's see if there was anything on that. No. Oh. Nothing. Must have just been a passing rockling or coley just having a little nibble. Tide is pushing a lot, which is good. I mean, I reckon even where I started this morning must be under, I don't know, 5-6 foot of water now. So I'm going for a much more streamline. I've got a 3-inch coral stick there, and that's just wrapped enclosed in a whole squid. So hopefully that'll give it a bit of life on the bottom. So that should be into a reasonable depth out there, I would hope. Strange today, because I mean it'll be a bit warmer now, but when I got down here it was only about 2-3 degrees. But down here the ground's a bit higher behind us. I can see the grass moving higher up. It's lovely, yeah, it's not remotely cold. That little bit of southwesterly is just pulling me line slightly. It's hopefully not too bad. Well, we're only, what, a week? No, where are we? Just over 2 weeks away from Christmas, so hit us with your favourite Christmas films. What do you like? I've got to say, and it's not exactly the most festive of films, I've got to admit, but Billy Bob Thornton in The Bad Santa for me is easily up there, one of my favourites. I think he's just absolutely brilliant in it. It's obviously certainly not a kids movie, but if that's his type of humour, which it definitely is for me, I think it's absolutely great. Home Alone's obviously a favourite as well, but yeah, let us know in the comments, I'd be interested to hear. Right, nothing on the coral and squid, so I've gone for half a wing wrapped in squid. Let's see if we can pull something out of that. What time on? 5 to 1. I'm probably going to have this cast and then one more, I think. And that'll be me. Getting a couple of very small tentative bites here. Just knocking away. Very small, just tapping away. Not quite enough to make us want to investigate, but oh, there we go, it was a little bit more of a rattle. Even though it's flat, there's still there's a tiny bit of groundswell, and it is enough to kind of move me rod backwards and forwards, so along with that tide, it's definitely not a bad thing. It's cooled off a lot now, mind. There's a bit of cloud cover come over. The temperature's dropped massively. We're about an hour before high now, and after this cast I'm going to have one more. Then I'm going to get home, showered, and get out for some food, and then on the drink. Get in. Yeah, give that one a couple more minutes and then see what happens. Yeah, that looks like there could be something small on there. That's the full time whistle. Yet again, nothing. Oh, just lost possibly the whole lot there. I felt it come over a much sharper rock. I don't know if I'm not sure if my braids suffered there and my leader's come off as well, but that felt very, very sharp. That. What have we got? Oh no, got the leader back. Oh, well, the only components that have survived are the trusty rock solid aero link. So with that, that's the end of the session. Was never really expecting any great shakes. It was more an opportunity to just get out and get some fresh air before yet another festive drinking session. So as always, thanks for watching. Hopefully you've been out and about doing your Christmas shopping and whatever else you enjoy doing in and around Christmas. So till the next one, tight lines, keep fishing. We'll see you soon.